Hello, my name is Michael Durso, the host avatar for BGSU Virtual Simulations. Today, we are going to take a small look into what goes into creating these simulations for your educational and professional journey. We use the Mursion platform to create these realistic and engaging scenario-based simulations in order to assist you in enhancing your teaching, training, and professional development. We do this with a robust selection of virtually simulated avatars and environments, with numerous combinations, in order to find the best possible fit to suit your needs. These avatars are of all ages, come from diverse backgrounds, and are equipped with established biographical information to bring life to your simulation. There is an extensive library of simulations that we have already developed, ranging from early childhood education, mental health counseling, physical therapist training, professional networking, and many others that may be just what you need. If you, however, need something more specifically tailored to your topic, we are more than happy to develop new simulations for you as well. During the process of developing your simulation, you will work closely with our virtual simulation team to plan out the course of your simulation. It is in this process that we will discuss the skills being worked on and develop the learning objectives that will guide the simulation. Once we have chosen the avatars and environments, it becomes a case of role play for our virtual simulation specialists. With the learning objectives in hand, our specialists will interact with the learners in moment-to-moment active dialogue, being able to discuss with and push back against the learner depending on their success with learning goals. We do this with a list of hits and misses, a flexible series of potential scenarios within the simulation that clue the simulation specialist in and allow them to guide the learner to the preferred outcome. And because we are using live simulation specialists, we are able to alter the intensity level of the simulations on the fly, allowing an adaptive education to provide either a low-pressure, low-stakes learning opportunity or a more rigorous educational challenge. These simulations typically last 5 to 8 minutes each, though this can be flexible based on your needs. Given time for introduction and feedback, there is usually time for 2 or 3 simulations in an hour. Just let us know what your needs may be, and we can typically be flexible in how and when simulations are developed. And now I would like to introduce you to Beth Ash, our Grant Program Manager, to tell us a little more about virtual simulations and our educational mission.
Virtual simulations are a really great way for learners to go to the next level of their content mastery. Through the Mursion platform, we have access to a number of different environments and avatar combinations, and we can really create scenarios that let learners apply the communication skills and strategies they've been working on in courses or trainings, and really just let them have that chance to apply those skills and really solidify their understanding of those.
Thank you for your time, Beth. And now we will take a look behind the scenes of delivering a simulation. The session is delivered remotely via Zoom, so it can be delivered anywhere, whether that is in your classroom, conference hall, or your own personal space. If needed, we have a studio space here in the Education Building on Bowling Green State University's campus, where you can come and bring your participants for a centralized experience. While the learners are preparing to engage with the simulation, our simulation specialists are in the office making their preparations. Once logged in to the Mursion platform, the simulation specialist will perform their checks, ensuring that the equipment is all in good working order. And though it may look like they are playing the newest Call of Duty game, I can guarantee that these Xbox controllers are used for puppeteering our avatars through their series of behaviors. Mursion comes equipped with an impressive voice modulator, assisting our simulation specialist in performing numerous avatars in convincing fashion. Once logged into the Zoom session and Mursion is introduced to the learners, that's when you will meet me, Michael Durso, your host and guide through the simulation. To tell you more about the process of developing and delivering a simulation is our lead simulation specialist, Dr. Jared Mariani.
Hello, I'm Jared Mariani. I'm the lead virtual simulation specialist here at Bowling Green State University, and I'll tell you a little bit about how we develop sims and how they work. So when we go to develop a simulation, we usually work with an instructor or whoever approaches us and needs a simulation. So we work with them to decide what the overall outcome of the simulation is going to be. We work with them to establish around 2 to 3 objectives that the learners are going to be working to achieve. And that usually takes place during a planning conversation where we go over what exactly we can do as the avatars to help the learners achieve their goals, or test the learners in a sense. So usually that looks like various roadblocks that we throw up as the avatars. So it might be something like misbehaviors in a classroom that the learner has to address. And if they address that correctly, then we might say that's good and move on to the next thing. Or depending on the intensity level of the simulation, we might throw it at them again. We might throw it at them in a different way. So they might have to address the same roadblock multiple times, depending on the intensity. Or they move on and they get the next roadblock. And all of those things work on our end to help the learners practice the objectives that the instructor has set for them. And then we make what we call a scenario guide, which is essentially like a bare bones script that we follow on our end to make sure that we're achieving everything we need to and the learner is doing what they're supposed to do. And we follow that throughout the simulation. And then at the end of the interaction, the learner and the instructor will say stop simulation, and then they go into a debrief and talk about the interaction that just occurred. And then some of the ways that we achieve those roadblocks that I mentioned as sim specialists, we can script dialogue, or at least not necessarily script, but sort of throw out possible dialogue options, and then we riff on that as sim specialists. We can have different animations that the avatars do that might work as roadblocks. So we can have a student go on their phone, we can have them fall asleep, so those count as different roadblocks as well. And we can achieve that all either through our dialogue or by pressing buttons on the Xbox controller.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Jared. Once the simulation is complete and our time with Mursion has completed, it is time to say goodbye, and for the learners to go out into the world with the confidence necessary to handle these situations in their day-to-day life. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any other questions about virtual simulations or how Mursion may work for you, please contact us at mursion@bgsu.edu. Once again, I am Michael Durso, your host avatar. Have a wonderful day.